All right, this is recording 884. The name of this podcast is Listen Next 884. The name of my podcast series is Speaking to the CIA. You can find me at speakingtothecia.com or christinastation918.com. You can put in Speaking to the CIA podcast on Podbean or Spotify or YouTube, and you can find me. Okay, so I'm going to continue on here. Okay, so I want to pick up on, I'm going to go, oh my gosh. Okay, let me do this one part. I'm continuing on the same path, but I want to do another one of those side road things again, okay, to show you how she's impermeated into Hollywood, using ICE on Hollywood. So the future has this back in time trippy effect. Oh my god, and everybody's supposed to be like, oh my god, and what's going on? Jean just iced the heck out of people. ICE and con people or ICE people is all that's going on. She's trying to shyster people, and she wants to shut down the United States government. She's got a bigger plot than that, which I've already got her turned in for. You have to go through my whole podcast because I'm not going to go through it all in every single podcast. Okay, so anyway, in 1983, do you know what else came out? Famous as heck. And I love the guy. I've talked to him a lot of times in mental telepathy. And if it wasn't for him and a lot of really great, comedians out there, they keep me from crying and build up my strength instead, where I have the strength and durability to continue to turn in the Navy captain. She committed stolen valor. She did the World Trade Center attack. She did the Oklahoma City bombing. Instead of the beginning part of this 10 years ago, I've been decoding her crimes for 10 years. The beginnings of this, the first 3/4 of these years, a lot of my time is spent in tears because I'm in shock and dismay. I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I'm scared. I'm finding out future terrorism. I'm like, she's stalking me. I'm like, I have to be the one to stop it because she has this wrapped and revolved around my life. Everything about my life is something that she's used to commit a crime with. And she makes up lies about my life to use to commit crime with. She's stalking my friends. She's stalking my family. She pretends that she's me. Can you imagine how grossed out my classmates have to be? Like my high school classmates, how grossed out they have to be. Because she pretends to be me all the time. She's like 80 years old. They've got freaking The Graduate running around. You have to look up The Graduate movie with Dustin Hoffman. Running around, acting like she's me, coming on to all of my classmates. Class of 86 to class of 1990. I graduated in 89. You got super freaking creepo blonde, and then everybody's memories, all memories, even for musical artists, all memories, everything that is cherished, she has set out to destroy. Everything. She has destroyed everybody's lives. Anyway, okay, so what came out in 1983? Eddie Murphy Delirious. Okay, so Eddie Murphy, I've talked to him in mental telepathy. He is hilarious. I cherish him. I really, really, really cherish him. He is a really good person. Okay, so she used him too. You can tell how she used ICE on him. Okay, and you can tell how she was even controlling his comedy skits. He still comes up with the comedy, but you can see where she's underneath behind it. So everybody looks back in time and everybody is upset and angry, which is what she wants. She wants everybody mad and upset and pissed off. It's a part of her theme. Alice in Wonderland. Mad. Okay, so the name of his comedy thing, Delirious. Mad. So it came out in 1983. So I'm going to just read this, how I wrote this down in my notes, and then you'll just have to go over it. So one of the skits, she iced him to make a skit about ice. Note there are two in it he mentions. He doesn't even know it or realize it, but I know these groups by now know it. And we let Jean pose as the hero, striking her lies at everyone. Like, she downs her nose at everyone and acts like she's some sort of savior or some wand caster on society when she is the perp. When you see what she did inside his skit, you will want to... Anyway, so will he. Okay, so anyway, you've got to be stupid or sick to help Jean and her occult Ku Klux Klan at this point. But her sickness and stupidity should not be allowed to decide the lives and fate of everyone. So if she wants to be sick and stupid and nobody wants to arrest her, why are we allowing her to have the decision fate of everyone else? Her decisions that she's being allowed to make, she is behind the terror attacks. She commits those terror attacks. So I can hear in my brain them scheming and plotting and everything they do. And now all I have to do is go look up different crimes. Go look up crimes each week. I can tell you, I can look anywhere in the planet. Any day. I can pick a nation and go look at top stories. I can go anywhere. Any day. She commits crime all over the place. I know how to decode crimes that she commits. Her occult is huge. But so she's allowed to commit these crimes. She's allowed to run a child trafficking ring. Her and her occult / Ku Klux Klan. Literally then. They want to behave that way. Can't they behave that way within themselves? I mean, why do they or why are they allowed to have the power of deciding the fate and lives of everyone else? Anyway, okay, so this is what I want to continue back on the prick thing. Okay, so also pen and then inside, okay, so pen and then pencil. Remember, it was a pencil. Hence, and then you know she crashed a plane in Pennsylvania. Okay, you see on my podcast. Okay, so to put the CIL in parentheses. So then you have prick, then you have ice pick, then you have ice prick, then you have pie, then you have price, and then later on you have Price Tower, which is what the Sears Tower was renamed to. Then you also have prickly pear cactus, okay? And then you have pear, like in twin. And then you have pear, P-E-A-R, like the fruit. That goes to ESP, okay? She loved to do that icing Charles Manson. She thought it was funny, making him think he was some sort of prophet, like he had inside knowledge of the future, which he really did. But everybody just thought he was crazy. But it wasn't that he was a prophet, but he really believed he was a prophet. It was because she was telling him in his brain this without him realizing it or pointing it out to him. I don't know how it was going. I don't know how he manifested the information that she was giving to him. And you can tell she wasn't literally using any kind of mental telepathy, because he literally thinks it's him. That's himself. That's the prophet. Okay. So how is he figuring this stuff out? Okay, so what he said has come to pass. That's what's going on now, and that's what she's being turned in for. And if she's not arrested, the more of what he said will happen. Okay? It's just like, because the world, the crimes that have been committed since then, that she has committed since then, have been roped around. Everything falls in line. Everything is pre-planned. And so everything he says, of course, is going to come out the way he says, because that's the way everything has been molded to be around since then. Okay? Just as it was before he came into where he was at. Just like Nostradamus. Was Nostradamus a real prophet? Also, Nostradamus knowing the future, and Nostradamus's quatrains being used by Gene Roberts and her predecessors, also starting Manson forward, being used as a roadmap to the end of the the planet Earth, to the very end, being used as a roadmap, because it's being routed and controlled that way, doesn't mean he's a prophet. It means he's a map. So you can figure a lot out. And I've decoded a lot of Nostradamus. And if I could sit down, I could decode a ton more. But I've decoded more than enough to prove that Gene Roberts has been using Nostradamus also as part of her to commit terrorism. Okay? So anyway, also needles. Okay, you're seeing all my podcasts on needles. But also Needles, okay? Needles, California. Okay, and also the terror attack where she used Land of Confusion, okay? Land of Confusion is a song that is sung by Genesis, Phil Collins, okay? She used Land of Confusion to commit a terror attack, and that is when I was living in Slidell in 2017. And I decoded it, and I was like, what is going on? Like, I was listening to the song on my phone or whatever while I was walking, and it's on my playlist, and then it would, like, key up an extra, like, emphasis in my brain, and I was just realizing about the mental telepathy, and then realizing that I had always had it all in my life, like, looking back. But, like, it's, like, keyed up extra, okay? So, and it was before I was able to two-way communicate. So, like, stuff was just being put in my brain and, like, extra emphasis where it wasn't natural to me, or I couldn't be fooled thinking it was me. Or being stunted, and that's why is this like this? Because that's not natural. Because that's not me. You use artificial intelligence on me all of my life. Use artificial intelligence on everybody. Anyway, so I go back to the house, and I'm watching the news, and then a terror attack happens, and I literally decode it while I'm sitting there watching the news story on TV, and I can see where she used Land of Confusion, Phil Collins' Genesis. And I'm like, what the heck is freaking going on? Which she thinks is funny because it's Land of Confusion, and I'm going, what the heck is going on? She also committed a crime using my favorite Billy Joel song. Has been my favorite Billy Joel song all of my life, ever since grade school, which is Allentown. She committed explosions in Allentown, Pennsylvania, around that song, because I have it on my playlist. She's using, like, my favorite songs as themes to commit terrorism with. And she does that all the time. Which doesn't get her anywhere anymore, because now that I have a podcast and I can make reports, continual reports, because this is such a heavy load of reports I make against her, to the CIA, to intelligence. Every time she attempts to commit any kind of crime using anything of mine, they already know in advance that it's her. She gets nowhere with it. She can't even get away with racketing anything anymore. They already know, they know it's her, and they know I'm going to make a report and tell on her. On the internet, I'm going to make a report against her. Which is exactly the point of my podcast until she's arrested. I will stop her as much as possible from stalking me, from making money spreading lies, and from committing terrorism. Okay, so anyway, she used another song by him called Another Day in Paradise. I know that goes to this too. So, because of the paradise word, and she probably also used Guns N' Roses. She's got some obsession with Guns N' Roses. Again, I don't know why they're not like creeped out, but I mean, they probably deal with, yeah, but they probably deal with that in Hollywood already. But I mean, you're talking about regular people that you're like, and then you have Gene, who's a psychopath, but they're more trained and adept in dealing with her. But I mean, can you see her just chasing them the hell around? It's the same freaking thing. She's like 80 years old. Anyway, so the CIL, that probably goes to windowsill. You're going to see all podcasts. See my podcast, this podcast right here, Speaking to the CIA.com, on sill, windowsill, and windows and everything else. And sill probably goes also to Sybil. Again, see all my podcasts, see all my decode on Sybil. And it probably also goes to Sybil Shepherd. Okay, Taxi. And then, Sybil Shepherd, another side thing here. Sybil Shepherd and Bruce Willis played, and then Bruce Willis's last name, played in a show on TV called Moonlighting. Okay, and Bruce Willis always plays parts where he's a hero and he saves the world, and he's bald, like Charles Manson people are bald. Somebody said on TV, showing that you're bald is showing a symbolism, and I don't know if that was happening in my head or on TV. I don't know where I heard that, but I heard that recently. Like, being bald is a symbol of humility. And that may be the case. That is, she's got a head full of hair. Well, she's the opposite of humility. But she has talked about, in my brain, talking to people, like she tells people she's going to shave her head. Which I don't know if she has or not, but she tells people she's going to shave her head. She's done that over the past 3 or 4 years. I mean, every couple of months I always hear the same thing. Jean killed herself. Jean's son was kidnapped. Jean will be here tonight or tomorrow. Jean did this for so-and-so, and Jean did that for so-and-so. She gets worshipped. And then also, Jean's cutting her hair. Jean's shaving her head. I mean, just the stupidest shit is said in my brain. I'm like, shut up! Anyway, so probably also goes to Sybil Shepherd in Taxi. Okay, so see all code there. And Martin Scorsese directed Taxi, and I met Martin Scorsese in Mental Telepathy. He knows everything there is to know, probably like all the big time directors. He is a very, very good person, and I thank God for him. He's a good person. There's a lot of really good people out there that know everything that's going on. So anyway, and I even got to watch, which was pretty amazing. I watched Taxi because I hadn't seen Taxi. And he wanted to see it, but he wanted to see it through me watching it. Because her planning to do the World Trade Center attack wraps all around. She wrapped my whole life around it, and she controlled and manipulated Hollywood. So he wanted to see what's in his movies, because he knows his movie was used, and he wants to see what I see, what she did, because I'll instantly see it, I'll instantly know. So I actually got to watch Taxi with him on in my mind and mental telepathy, Martin Scorsese. And then, like, in my brain, I'm like, do-do-do-do-do, and he's like, do-do-do-do-do. But he doesn't talk a lot. Now he doesn't talk at all, but before he would talk, but he's not a man of a lot of words. Like, he talks, he says what he talks, and then he doesn't talk. Okay, so anyway, so also yogurt, okay, is in this, which I couldn't believe. I'm like, oh my God. And then a few short years later, the frozen yogurt craze came out. The country's best yogurt. Okay, and then also from yogurt, and then also Yogi Berra, and then baseball, and then YD, and then bed. Okay, so BCD means racket. Okay, so the B is the beginning, the D is the death, birth and death. Okay, and the C in the middle is the mattress. Okay, the saggy mattress. How people shove money in the mattress? So I decoded the whole thing out on the BCD code. That means racket. Okay. So if you're saying that if you're going to bed with someone, it might not mean that you're going to bed with them. It might mean that you're running a racket on someone. It depends on the constructs of the sentence. But so BCD and BED, okay? So an E is a 3, okay? And a 3 is a C, okay? BCD, okay? It means racket, okay? To close the whole thing out. And there's a whole bunch to it. But anyway, so YD and then bed. And then I'm like, oh my God, that's freaking for real, because there's such thing, YD, because I'm like, that's day. And then I'm like, oh my God. Somebody said, hey, there's something called a day bed. And I'm like, oh my God, there is an invention called the day bed. Now, the people telling me that are not Jean's friends, but she always pretends it's her little sick ring of muck-smuck. Just yuck people that are talking to me. No, that's her own people. Because if it's those people, I'm like, no, don't talk to me. Go talk to your mother. So anyway, so there is such thing as a day bed. So that's for real. Okay, so then also the ticker and the time and the hourglass, etc. See all code around that, okay? Where she used the hourglass, she used one, what is that soap opera again? Oh my gosh. Not One Life to Live. Days of Our Lives. She used Days of Our Lives as a theme in doing the World Trade Center attack. Okay, so One Day at a Time she also used. Okay, so One Day at a Time is a TV show that was on, I believe, in the late 70s, probably early 80s. Remember Schneider was on it? Okay, so the two daughters on it, one daughter's name, I don't remember what her name is on the show, but she was famous. She's very famous. Her name is Valerie Bertinelli. Okay, so her husband is Eddie Van Halen, and Eddie Van Halen recently passed away, and ever since he passed away, I have been completely like, I wonder if he's passed away or if he is still alive and he just went into like quiet mode, just simpling down his life. Or I wonder if she's holding him hostage in this hostage racket. Like, I'm concerned for his safety. And I've spoken to, a few times in my brain, David Lee Roth in mental telepathy, and he cannot see Gene Roberts either. In fact, I get a huge kick out of it, because he's just like he is on TV in his videos. He's freaking crazy. But I get a kick out of it because he's like, and I'm like, oh my God, he's awesome. He's awesome. But anyway, And so there's also someone else in the band, and I don't remember what his last name is, but his name is Alex. Okay, you know, Alex is the character's name from Flashdance, and you know, Ale, she used Ale and the beer deals and all of that, trying to do all of her framing and all that. Alex. Okay, so and then also you have Alexander Graham Bell. Okay, so she used all this in themes and planning to do the World Trade Center attack. Well, Alex, okay, I saw him in my brain in mental telepathy. I was so upset. I was so upset. I still haven't even said anything about it. But I saw him, and he was not healthy. And it looks like he's being held hostage. And not healthy, like he doesn't look well. And I don't know how to say it. I don't want to say what he just doesn't look healthy. Like, he looks like he's in danger. So that's how he looks in my brain. So since then, I know David Lee Roth has been on. I've decoded a ton for Van Halen. Gene stalked the heck out of them. I decode all kinds of ciphers. She did a cipher out of I Can't Drive 55. She encoded Sammy Hagar. I decoded so much. A lot of it's in my Martin Luther King Jr. book, the small teal book that I turned into Tulsa Police Headquarters. She stalked the ever-living heck out of all of them. Anyway, so he's come on, so I know that people have said something to him, and I know that he's wise to the people that probably went running to him to tell him what's going on. And then I'm sure he had people that, with true cause and care, probably told him what's going on in my brain, which is probably why he goes on. He wants to find out always what's going on. So anyway, that still, I don't even like thinking about it. Like, I can still see him in my brain. It worries me. Like, I'm worried about a lot of celebrities. I don't know if they're okay or not okay. And why are they being made to look like this if they are okay? And if they're not okay, why are you leading people to think that they're not okay if they are okay? Like, why are you doing this? And if they're really not okay, why are we not arresting Jean? She's running a hostage racket. The same thing with Chris Farley. And you guys know, for those of you who know me, Chris Farley is like one of my favorite comedians. His movie Tommy Boy is my favorite comedy. Tommy Boy and Friday are tied. Anyway, and I know, oh my gosh, his co-star, now I can't remember what his name is. She's blanking my brain. Oh my gosh. He played in Black Sheep. He played in Tommy Boy. He played in Joe Dirt. What is his name? They were like, they were picking at him. Gene Roberts' people were picking at him vicariously by pretending to be you as if it were you, trying to get a reaction out of him. They must have known he was on, and they're trying to get him to, like, at them. I can't... Oh, David Spade. But anyway, I've talked to him in mental telepathy. The last I talked to him, he has also concern for people that he knows that are in her hostage racket, which makes me want to cry because he's a comedian. And when he was talking, there was nothing funny. I mean, he was really upset. So, okay, so anyway, also note her name is Valerie, okay? So one of my dad's good friends in Slidell, her name is Val, okay? And I decoded Jean taking her life. She used ice. Her death was not an accident. Her death was caused by Jean assaulting her with ice, causing a boating accident. Okay, I decoded the whole thing out. So again, this is no coincidence. Valerie Bertinelli, again, another Val. Okay, so also in One Day at a Time, you also have the adders One World Trade. That's the adders of the World Trade Center. Okay, so where am I at? I'm at 30 minutes. Okay, so I still have yet another podcast to do. So I'm going to do another one after this.